Hi, welcome back to Mondays at the Museum, Session 6. This week will be our final visit to the Met, but hopefully not yours. This week, we are going to retrace our steps through the Met Kids site and revisit all the new observation and questioning skills we've built over the last 5 sessions. From reading art to asking questions like an archaeologist, to finding math and science and performing arts at the museum. I hope that with these new skills, you and your grown-up can come back anytime to explore all that this fantastic free platform has to offer. So let's go to the Met. When we first arrived, this special welcome box was here to welcome us. We started from the street and clicked through a few key yellow dots that I had chosen to explore beforehand. When you go back on your own or with your grown-up, you can start your journey anywhere. The yellow dots indicate places and spaces or objects that are not considered part of the collection at the museum. Like here, we could find out where the school groups enter. All of these spaces offer a discover snapshot of information, and some come with videos that give even more insight. So here's where the school groups get started. And here we can go into the Ruth and Harold D. Uris Center for Education. Some of them have really cool videos like this. So while we're here, let's go ahead and watch this one.
My name is Sandra Jackson Dumont. I am the chairman of education at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and I'm so thrilled to be a guest reporter for Met Kids. Today, I'm meeting 3 young artists who are part of the Met's Discoveries program. For over 30 years, kids with developmental disabilities and autism have participated in discoveries with their friends and families. We explore art in the galleries through different themes, activities, and senses like smell and touch to make our own art. Let's go talk with our first artist. So, tell me your name.
I'm Ian.
Okay, Ian, and how old are you?
I'm 11.
You're 11. You come to Discoveries, yes?
Yeah, I come with my mom. I sometimes do crafts and activities.
Right.
I make the supplies into something.
And what do you call that something?
A masterpiece.
A masterpiece, yes. Tell me a little bit about your artwork.
It has train cars in it. I made it by using things that connect to one another that are train cars.
They're called clothespins. They connect like the subway cars. How does it feel to show your artwork?
It feels good for me. I introduced everyone to my artwork, even my babysitter too.
Thank you so much for talking to me, Ian. This is such an incredible work of art.
I'm Graham and I'm 10 years old.
My name is Stratford. I'm 2.
So tell me a little bit about your artwork. How did you get inspired?
My family goes to neighborhood restaurants a lot, and they always have tiles with like soup and pastries on it. And since I eat pizza, I decided to put it on there.
Russell, what do you like about your art?
It's a tile with a cloud. I like the clouds flying.
So what are your favorite Discoveries activities?
My favorite Discoveries activity was the clay sculpture one. I made a figure, a plane, and a building.
Do you make things together as a family?
Yes.
Who else has artwork in this exhibition?
My mom,
Your mom,
my dad,
your dad,
and my grandma.
and your grandma? That's 5 people for one family in one exhibition. What does it feel like to make artwork with your family?
Nice, actually. Do you make art, and what inspires you?
What inspires me are young people like you all. The museum shows art from many times and places, and by putting your own spin on that art and making your own artwork, you're becoming a part of that history too. What's your favorite part of the museum?
Oh, my favorite part of museum is everything.
Everything? You like everything?
So just like that, you can also make art. And we've learned so many things this time together that you guys could work with your families and create some amazing art that's been inspired by our visits to the Met. So now remember that we determined at the beginning that a museum is a space that tells and shares stories about people, places, and things using objects and images. When we click on a red button, for example, that means that it is a object or image from the collection that has been chosen because it can be used to help tell those stories. These all have fun facts at the top. I'll click on that. And they can offer way more access, including videos, activities, and more. Now, all of these artifacts and images in this collage can be a bit overwhelming, as we learned in our first session. The Met is an encyclopedic museum. This means that they have collections of objects and images from multiple time periods and from all over the world. Not all the art that is on display at the Met has a red dot on it. So let's look all over here. So as you can see, not everything has a red dot on it. We can still move in and maybe get a glimpse of what it could be. But we can't necessarily click on all of them and get all that really great insight. But you can also go to the main Met site by coming up to the menu, clicking on Visit the Museum, and then clicking on Art and the Art Collection. This is where we went to learn about Kandinsky. So what I did is I typed his name in and looked at all of the Kandinsky pieces that they had here. So these were not on that big collage on the Met Kids page, but these also have fantastic stories and ways to learn from them. So here's what we looked at. We looked at Violet to learn about how he showed music, but these also have videos. They're not specifically made for kids, but you could still totally learn from this. So here is a video that explains how lithographs are made. So let's pause here for a second. And turn to your grown-up, or think to yourself, or turn to a friend. What kinds of things are you most excited to see in your own exploration of Met Kids? So let's go back to our special page, and here we are. So we're going to click on a red dot over a painting. Let's see. There's so many to choose from. Let's find a painting with a red dot on it. One that we haven't looked at before. Here we go. Let's look at this one. So this is my challenge to you. After having gone through this course, is that before you read any of the discovery or imagine information or watch the videos, try to zoom in on the image like this, if your computer will let you, and look closely at the painting. Remember the questions we explored. First, you could read the painting by asking questions like, what do you see? What's happening? And what do you see to make you say that? Or you can think about, what does this remind you of? Does this remind you of someone or something you know about already? What does this make you feel and why? And what does it smell like in this painting? Or what does it taste like? What's the temperature? How does it feel? And what's the story? Then, if you like, you can apply our questions from our STEM class and look closely and see if you can tell whether the artist used the rule of thirds, or if you can see other repeating patterns or shapes that the artist is using to help guide your eyes to the story that they're telling. Maybe draw a line. This looks like this one might be using the rule of thirds. Then, after you've done all of that exploration on your own, see what questions and videos and paths of discovery the Met educators put together for you to deepen your understanding. So here we're looking at a painting called Two Women by Paul Gauguin. French artist Paul Gauguin often traveled to faraway places and sometimes stayed for many years. Near the end of his career, he went all the way to the island of Tahiti, which is about 9,700 miles from France, where he made much of his artwork. So here we can go down and discover, read all about the story, what story he's telling. We can even learn more, and we can imagine and create. So I would challenge you to come back and read a little bit more about Paul Gauguin and his Two Women and the beautiful story that it tells. From Tahiti, of all places, which was really hard to get to in 1901. You had to take a boat for a very long time. So let's take another pause and go back here. Now, not everyone wants to take the time to first look closely and then read about the art. And that's okay. Would you rather read about the art and then look closely? Sometimes that's just as helpful, especially when it's hard to find what to look for. There are lots of different kinds of visual art, images, and paintings at the Met. Which one sounds most interesting to you? European paintings? Maybe modern art or American art, or maybe you like looking at photography. So let's go back to the map and try another challenge. Now, the next cool tool we learned about is the time machine. The Met isn't just art, it's also history. When you use the time machine, you can go anywhere in time to learn through the people and cultures through the materials they left behind, just like an archaeologist. So let's go back to 750 BC in Europe and see what artifacts it shows us. Awesome. So let's look at one. Maybe we can look here at this panel from a rectangular box. Oh, wow. So when you click on an artifact, you can do the same thing we did with the painting. You can zoom in, look closely, and ask, what is this? How is it made? Why was it made? How is it used? What is it made out of? Who used it? What does this tell us about the person or the people who made it or used it? And then you can read all about it and watch the videos to see how close or how far off you were with your hypothesis. Well, I did not guess in my head that this was made out of ivory. I thought it was made out of wood. Ivory, carved inlaid with stone and traces of pigment. An elephant's tusk provided the ivory for this panel. And we can go down and we can watch. And we can, anytime you want to watch just videos, you can also just go to this video site. And you can click on videos about creating, and there's tons of art projects and ways to recreate some of the pieces or respond to some of the pieces you see on the map or through the time machine. You can also look at question and answers. These are more interviews, kind of like the other ones we watched throughout our course. We didn't watch all of them. I left lots for you to watch on your own or with your grown-up. You can also look at these. These were all made by kids. So if you remember in our STEM class, we saw them doing those animation videos. Here are some of those animation pieces and how they all turned out. Or maybe we want to watch a video about celebrations. We want to see some of the cool programs and performances that they have at the Metropolitan Museum. And if you just want to browse through them all, you definitely can. And just watch videos. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can learn so much from that. So now let's go back again to the map. And we are going to go back to the yellow dots. Now, these yellow dots tell us about the galleries or spaces where the art and artifacts are on display. Let's see, I think this might be a good one to look at. So my next challenge to you is to enter these spaces online, just like we learned in our last session, the way a dancer might enter or the way a musician might enter. What would a dancer look for in this space? What might a musician hear? How would the dancer or the musician experience the patterns or the shapes? Let the space move you. There's so much to explore and learn through the Met Kids website. We only touched the very tip top of the surface. This marks the end of our time and journey through the Met. But I hope that this is not your last visit to the Met. There's so much more to learn. And I hope that this time with Mondays at the Museum has helped you feel that you can find a manageable path through these vast resources. The Met is only one in thousands of amazing museums from around the world. Keep exploring and learning and asking questions about the world around you. Mondays at the Museum now offers new online journeys. Check out our site regularly at museum-mondays.com to learn about our upcoming courses through museums such as the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History, the Art Institute in Chicago, and the Casa Azul in Mexico City. Thanks again, and I hope I'll see you on another Monday at the museum.